Awesome. So let's talk about something that probably a lot of more people don't like as much as all these movies that we just talked about. Let's talk about DC. If you've been watching our show a long time, you know that DC is like my favorite thing ever, and I've been depressed for the last 10 years because everything kind of sucks. And even when they're good, the conversation around it is horrible. So, welcome to our new DC episode. We're gonna be talking about The Flash now, and how it made me sad and happy at the same time. So, The Flash just came out. It was directed by Andy Muschietti, who directed the It movies. It one is really good. It two,
Hated it too.
not great.
It one's a lot of fun. It too. I don't know how you feel, Chris. Did you like those movies?
First one's fun. The second one, I was so painful to sit through.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same movie but with adults, and it's like
It's not
longer
great.
than Interstellar or some shit.
So anyway,
That's my little
directed by
rant.
Andy Muschietti and written by Christina Hodson, but not really, because this movie has so many people in the story by credits because it's been through so many iterations. Um, I think the guys from Game Night, what's their name?
Yeah, they're credited as story Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly.
Yeah, they're credited as story. I think
And then they dipped to do a much. Actually, I don't know if it's a better. D&D is a
I
surprisingly good
haven't
movie.
watched it
I
yet,
won't
but
say better, because we'll get to it.
yeah, I still wish they finished The Flash, but whatever. Anyway, so written by Christina Hudson, and it stars the very fun person Ezra Miller, as Barry Allen, The Flash, Michael Keaton as Batman, Ben Affleck as Batman, Sasha Calle as Supergirl, um, and a bunch of other people that we'll get on, especially in our spoiler section. Um, I'll give my thoughts first. Uh, Gal knows how much I love DC. Now I guess Chris knows too. It is actually my favorite thing, and I love the Flash. I love the comics in the Flash, and I even loved the TV show like 10 years ago, like the first two seasons. Um,
Can't help you on that one.
Nobody can. It's not great, but I actually had a lot of fun watching this movie. Besides the wonky ass CGI that really took me out of it at a lot of the points, and Andy Muschietti apparently said that was on purpose. If that was on purpose, that
Wait,
was a
what?
stupid decision, because he wanted people to see as the Flash sees, and apparently the Flash sees everyone as bad CGI. I don't know.
It looked
Um,
like clay. Is that what you're talking about? Like the clay
yeah,
scene?
that, but also when they were kind of clayey, when they were running really fast or something like that, it was
Okay.
supposed to be Barry's vision. So I don't agree with that at all. I think that's a very stupid decision. But again, I had a lot of fun watching this movie, and I had a smile on my face throughout 95% of it. So, and I know Gal actually had a good time too. Chris, tell us what you thought about this movie.
Yeah, so I enjoyed my time for about two-thirds of the movie, and then we'll talk about it in the spoiler part, but it really fell off the rails for me. I'll get into why. And I like the ending, like the whole final 40 minutes really soured my overall experience with this one. Um, I can't lie, seeing Keaton back was great. He carried the movie for me. Like so much so that I would have rather just seen a solo Batman movie with him, honestly, because he was the best part. I wish we got more Supergirl. Obviously, she was great with what she was given. I don't know if she had the strongest writing or screen presence. But yeah, I like you said the CGI and you mentioned those things, and if that moment it's supposed to be, it's on purpose that it looks like poor, like a PS2 graphic, that's fine. But to me, the one thing that I cannot look past in this movie, the one thing I can't look past in this movie is the fact that anytime there were two Barrys on screen, one of the Barrys looked like Ezra Miller, the other Barry, the face was so wonky. At least the cut I saw. And it's embarrassing because if you look at
When
a
did
movie
you
like The
see it?
Social Network, I saw it June 6th. So I
Fuck
Mm.
saw it
literally.
9 days before it came out.
Okay, because I
Hmm.
think, at least in mine, I didn't feel that way. Did you feel
Okay.
that way in yours, Gal?
No, I saw other people, at least like the big reviewers who probably saw it early too, who said that it felt like Ezra Miller and then someone else edited, I personally didn't feel it. I actually thought to
Okay.
myself like, "Oh, they're doing a good job."
Yeah, but we watched
Maybe
it
they changed something, but
like
I
five
doubt
days
it.
ago.
Yeah.
Like we watched it on premiere, and I've
Okay.
heard like that actually in these big
Yeah, I watch it in
movies
theaters regularly.
they still do CGI and they edit until like the day of release nowadays.
Really?
If it's a digital release, like if it's not like on film, which this definitely wasn't, um, they mess around with it until the day it comes out. So I'm pretty sure we watched like a different cut.
Can someone back
Okay,
us
yeah.
in the
Then
comments? Because I don't know if that applies for this movie.
yeah, well if I
Oh, Warner
rewatch,
Brothers is never gonna tell us.
they're never gonna tell us no. But I did still find it distracting, even in certain fight scenes. It just for a studio like Warner Brothers, come on now. Like I mean, I'm not asking for the best CGI of all time, but it was
Movie has
lacking.
been in development for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. They've had so much time, years and years. So yeah, and I felt there was like a pretty rushed finale. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't like the ending. I did like the setup, this time travel adventure. It had Back to the Future tropes in the first act, so I enjoy a lot of this movie, but I can't look past my big issues in the third act.
The ending probably was tweaked a lot in the last like 6 months because of the situation DC is in right now. So it kind of sucks that we'll never actually get to see the real ending of this movie, of the one that Andy Muschietti actually wanted us to see. Of course, he's
Hmm.
probably going around now saying that this is his ending, but that's just studio line. Like, he probably filmed. No, there's actually reports he filmed something completely different
Oh,
as the real ending, which we'll get more into the spoilers because that actually would have been way better in my opinion. Um,
what
Gal,
I
give us your opinion on the movie.
yeah, I actually really liked the movie. It was honestly, as far as a Flash movie goes and all the troubles it went through, this is maybe the best that I was hoping it would get. From the trailer, I thought it was like taking itself kind of like every time this was being marketed as like the big like event of the DCU that's gonna change the continuity forever. It felt like it was gonna take itself too seriously, and so I was so glad that when the movie started, that it was just being this really fun, playful, uh, time travel action comedy. And Ezra Miller, troubles aside, I think he gave the movie a lot of like nervous humor and energy, and I think also, I'm at least talking about like earlier on, like the way that the Flash moved like through the action scenes was cool in the beginning, like when he was saving people, like before he gets into the Speed Force, because obviously I think like the whole like there's like an arena that he goes through and he like
Yeah,
actually goes back in time,
in
and that was odd.
in the comics that's called like the treadmill or like the something
Hmm.
treadmill, like the time treadmill, something like that. And yeah, it they did not
It
translate
didn't
it
translate that.
very well to the movie screen.
And yeah, besides that, like I was honestly just having a really fun time through the whole movie, and I thought the humor worked. I thought Michael Keaton added so much to the movie because he just has this natural charm, and they choreographed his action scenes as Batman so well that I think it's even better than if they had just had Ben Affleck there the whole time. I'm not a Batfleck hater. Like I think the casting or his performance is better than some of the movies that he led, but it's just I thought Keaton did so well, and it offered the movie like another side, not just fan service. And Sasha Calle, I think, gave the movie a lot as Supergirl. Also, would have been
Yeah,
more interesting than it would have been if it was just Henry Cavill as Superman again. Just because it gave us this new edge of like the edgier part of the movie, like her versus General Zod. On that end, though, I don't think bringing back General Zod as the villain added a lot to the movie, and I
he
think
was
it
there
just
for 5 minutes.
and yeah, he had like 5 lines, and there was also like just like the same like white color palette that Man of Steel had, and it was trying too much to remind you, hey, we're going back to Man of Steel without.
But that makes sense because it's supposed to take you to exactly that time. So I understood that choice. And I guess I like Man of Steel more
I
than you,
wish.
but like
No, I do like Man of Steel. I just wish they had done a little bit something differently with the visuals. But just Zod as the villain, I don't think he did much
I
to
think
benefit the movie.
if they were gonna change it, and they did change a lot, they probably should. What's her name? His back, like his not his
Like
backup. His
Faora, is that her?
Theora, yeah. They should have had her as the villain because she was very sidelined in Man of Steel. and it could have been very interesting to have her as
She
an
had like no
actual
lines
villain.
in this movie.
Yeah, she had no lines in the movie.
No, but what I mean is more just like the visuals of it, because they had
Yeah.
like they're like a spaceship arriving in Metropolis, and it looked like a shot from Batman vs Superman or Man of Steel.
could have been,
And it was like it could
honestly.
have, yeah. So that part I was
that,
like, okay,
But they were trying to do like show you a different side of that same scene, so it should look exactly the same. Cause like they were showing Barry's side of it. So yeah, I think
I think I think the CGI bothered me more like during the Speed Force treadmill thing, honestly,
oh,
than
that was awful.
it did here.
Um, okay. So, any general thoughts before we get into spoilers? Because there's no way to talk about this movie accurately without talking about the spoilers.
There really isn't. I feel like we have to
I
dance
will
around it
also
all.
say, I want to hear you guys' take on this. First of all, I thought Maribel Verdú did really good as Nora Allen.
Yeah.
Um, Little shout out if you guys haven't seen Alfonso Cuarón's Y Tu Mama Tambien. It's a great little movie. It was the really big breakout for Diego Luna and Gael Garcia Bernal in their early 20s, and she's the other lead role. She's really good in this movie, and she was great here as well. I thought she was super well cast. And then Kiersey Clemens, I thought was good, but she was so underused.
So underused.
And I'm so scared that like they'll recast this gang, and such a good actor wasted in this role. I'm afraid of that. That's all.
Yeah. Because the whole thing is that this should have been a Flash movie because it's the first Flash movie, and then Iris West would have played a way bigger part in it.
Yeah, if they could have still had Iris like in the back in the 2013 scenes, that could have been something cool.
could have helped
Just
as
because
well,
she's such an interesting actor. I've seen her in other things. If you all seen the movie Dope.
And you know she was there because she was supposed to like date Barry or something in
Yeah,
that,
they were
in
supposed
that
to.
night.
That's
so,
the saddest part of this movie is that he missed his date with Iris because of this mess.
yeah, to go on that stupid treadmill. So, I actually, if we're talking about recast, I hate that we lost Billy Crudup as Barry Allen's father, because he's the one that played Barry Allen's dad in Justice League. The both.
It's
both
apparently
because-
because of the morning show. He was busy with that. That's why he couldn't
Which
come
is
back.
ridiculous, because like this movie took so long to come out that the morning show hasn't had a new episode in like 2 years. So, so that's how long ago this movie shot.
Yeah, they greenlit this movie. Then they had 2 seasons of morning show, one
Yeah.
shooting or editing now, and then they had the movie.
Yeah, so he could have been here.
Chris, what do you think of the rest of the cast?
Yeah.
You know, Keaton stole the show. It's great to see Batfleck back. I really am saddened that they never gave him his own solo movie, Ben Affleck as Batman, because I thought that he was just this brooding Batman, especially in like BVS, and I wish we got more of that. So that's a shame. But all around, I mean, the cast was fine. I wasn't bothered by like any singular performance in the movie. It was around across the board, I would say solid cast. My big issue comes from like the plot, the resolution of it all, which I'll talk about soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since I guess I'll leave my comments to of Michael Keaton that apparently didn't say anything, even though he's one of my favorite Batman. Like, I've only watched the '79 Batman like for the first time like about 5 years ago, something like that.
Isn't it like 82? Wait.
89,
Wait.
sorry, not
89.
79. Not
Yeah, you
79,
messed with my head
89.
there for a sec.
89 and 92 are his two movies.
Yeah, I've seen
My
those.
favorite is actually Returns from that era, his second movie.
Returns is much better in my opinion.
But anyway, he's great in both of them, and I love the callbacks in this movie. I know they're spoiled in the trailer, but like,
Wait, he's Batman?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
I really love his callbacks, and they feel there's no way to make that sound natural, callbacks like that, but like they made it as natural as it could have been. And I think it's all because of Keaton's delivery. He's such a great actor, and yeah, he plays the shit out of Batman, even like what 40 years later. So yeah, he's still Bruce Wayne, which is crazy. So
I think
let's-
just like I
go
was gonna
for it.
say, I just think as a performer, first of all, Batman is something that's followed him all his career. Like he still takes pride in that. But I think as a performer, Michael Keaton's just someone who, unless he's in like one of those shitty action B movies, he's always giving it like 100%. whether he's Beetlejuice or Birdman or so on.
I felt so
And
bad he
everyone,
lost the Oscar.
yeah, exactly. He deserved that. But he's always like everyone loves to see him. Like his energy is always so charismatic and pure, and I think he was honestly really excited. You can feel that in his performance to be Batman again,
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne.
Okay, let's get into some spoilers for The Flash. Um, so let's start with the cameos, I guess. Then we'll go to like the plot, and then we'll do like some.
Yeah. So we
we'll
open
wrap it
with
up.
like this really good scene in Gotham. I personally think it was a really good
It's
scene.
basically a Justice League scene, which
It
is
felt
great.
like the comic book energy that DC's always been trying to nail.
Yeah.
And it felt like they got it with Ben Affleck riding through as Batman, like shooting missiles and shit. And then within the first 5 minutes, Gal Gadot's there. So that's a way to start the movie, to be like cameo heavy.
Yeah, I have one problem with that scene. I hated the whole baby thing. Like, not because I'm like, oh, that's a real baby. No, I don't care about that. But like, they looked so freaking creepy. It took me out of the movie so bad. Those CGI babies, that like, I just wanted that scene to be over. So that little part I hated, but like everything else in like that opening scene was fantastic. The fact that it all took place in like 5 minutes with the guy doing the sandwich, and like I love Ben Affleck. He's like Chris said, like I think he might be my favorite Batman. I love him
Really?
so much, and like and he gives it all to this performance every time. Like it's really good, and it really sucks that he didn't get his movie.
I don't know about you guys, but I think like here they were finally like figuring out that tone with him and Jeremy
Yeah.
Irons as Alfred, and I was like, yeah, shame that he's saying this is his last movie because he's doing so well and he's really
Yeah.
enjoying the space in the universe.
And it was a great little Justice League adventure, even though I would have had rather like that they all came in from the beginning and had like the whole scene together instead of like Barry and then Batman popping up and only then Wonder Woman. I rather they would all be together. And of course, Cyborg is not in good terms with Wonder Brothers right now, but yeah, but like I love that little Justice League thing. Like I always want like to see something like that. It reminded me of like the cartoon when I was a kid, like the JLA cartoon, and like yeah, it was just great. And when Gal Gadot showed up, we live in Israel, Chris. So like everyone here freaks the fuck out whenever Gal Gadot shows up anywhere, and people are not 100% sure she's gonna show up. In Fast X, people freak the fuck out, and it was the same thing right
Oh,
now.
and Shazam! This is the year where
Yeah,
she's
and
just
Shazam
getting
as well. She got like
easy
three-
money.
She got 3 standing ovations for just showing up in this country. So so yeah, so that was fun, and I love her. She's great as Wonder Woman. So yeah, so those are the first cameos. Then of course we had Keaton, which is not really a cameo. What's the cameo that comes after that? Because for a while it's just Barry with Barry for like a long time. And his roommates, which is like a really funny scene.
Okay, I want to say one thing. One of his roommates, I forget his name. I forget the character's name, so that you guys know who I'm talking about.
It's probably the guy that was in this
Albert?
underwear.
No.
Like,
Yeah, it's him. Albert, yeah. So he's played by Rudy Mancuso, and this is a guy who I followed on YouTube a lot. Like he would just do funny videos on YouTube, and he eventually like collabed with Mike Tyson and Steph Curry. This guy was like a big part in my high school YouTube life, and I'm so glad that he's getting big movies now. And I'm pretty sure he's like dating Camila Cabello.
What?
I'm not 100%. Is that true?
I'm not sure. I
Camila
don't-
Mendes. Sorry, Camila Mendes from Riverdale. But yeah, shout out Rudy Mancuso. Great guy.
Yeah, he was really funny actually in that scene. And I love.
I mean,
also
we
love
got to
what
mention the Eric Stoltz Back to the Future
Yeah,
joke.
that's
like,
what I was gonna say
'cause-
right
yeah?
now.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
we
and I
just
love
talked
that in
about
that
it. Yeah.
In that scene, like, oh, like they talk about like the movies, the time travel movies differences in the time travel movie. I love that. That
I was laughing
fun.
so hard. I don't. You guys could help me. It was like Kevin Bacon in Footloose. No, Kevin Bacon in Top Gun. I don't remember who was in Footloose, but you guys could. The whole Eric Stoltz joke. I thought it was so funny, and no one else in my theater got it.
Yeah, no
Really?
one in the theater got it as well for mine, but like I was barely laughing. It was so funny.
Hmm.
If you haven't watched the episode of Netflix of how movies were made or something like that, that they go through all that. If you don't know what we're talking about the making of Back to the Future. Uh, but anyway, like yeah, Eric Stoltz basically shot for a week. They realized it was crap. They scrapped it and they got oh god, I'm blanking on his
Michael
name.
J.
Michael J.
Fox.
Fox,
Thank
yeah.
you. Jesus Christ. So anyway, Michael J. Fox was the one in Footloose, and Kevin Bacon was the
Got
one
it, yeah.
in Top Gun. I wish they said something about Tom Cruise. Like, where did Tom Cruise go if he wasn't in Top Gun?
Tom Cruise? You mean the guy from The Matrix?
Yeah, that would have been great. Um, so yeah, after that we actually don't get a lot of cameos throughout the movie. It's more towards the end.
But we did get Tamora Morrison in one scene.
Yeah, we got Tamora Morrison, and actually in that scene that we're talking about right now, that's when we got him, because that's when Barry finds out that none of the Justice League members are in this timeline. 'Cause he tried to get in contact with all of them, and Tamora Morrison, if you don't know, is
Thomas Curry.
Thomas Curry. So he's Aquaman's father.
And the father of Stephen Curry. No, just
What?
kidding.
Uh,
It's Del Curry.
that was a fun cameo when he's like, Arthur, my dog, and like it's just a shot of a dog, because I guess he didn't ever meet
Queen Atlanta.
what's her name in yeah,
Nicole Kidman.
no, I was gonna say in the I know Nicole Kidman's name.
Oh, you forgot Michael J. Fox.
That's
I don't
fair.
know.
That's fair. So yeah, I guess he had the misfortune of not meeting Nicole Kidman in this timeline.
So did we. We have not met her yet.
But anyway, so that was fun. And then in the end of the movie, we had like some crazy cameos. So like first we had Zod, which not really a cameo and not really that great. Then we found out that the Dark Flash was actually Barry Allen. Did you guys not make that connection right away? Then I right away when she shows up and he pushes Barry out of the Speed Force, I was like, oh okay, so that's younger Barry. Like they're gonna go through this movie, he's gonna become an asshole, and that's him. Like out of time. Did you guys not make that connection right away? Was that not as obvious as I thought it was?
I'll be honest, I don't even remember exactly what we're referring to.
When he's trying to go back to his time after he saves his mom,
Okay, yeah.
Dark Flash shows up and pushes him out, which is how he falls in 2013.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like, right away I was like, oh okay, so it's himself.
Oh shoot! Sorry, it took a sec for me to process
Yeah.
it all because yeah,
I was like,
I
it's
know what you're talking
himself.
about. Yeah,
He
I
becomes-
didn't know what that was at first. I was like, what the hell is that? But
Maybe
now
it's
in
because I'm a Flash
retrospect, I
fan.
do know.
So
Yeah.
like I right away I was like, oh that's Dark Flash,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
him. So like
Okay, yeah.
because they did something really similar in the TV show with where Barry
Okay.
becomes an asshole, and he has a very similar outfit. But like anyway, so that was the first one. Then towards the end of the movie, we have like that big multiversal thing.
Is that the part that you hated, Chris? Like in terms of the CGI?
Yeah. Go
Yeah, I
for it.
hated that when it was like all the different like universes like colliding, right? And it showed like it showed Christopher Reeve's Superman, I believe. It showed like Adam West Batman at one point. I couldn't stand that. Like that whole final fight that went down with all the berries too. I was like, this is going off the rails for me. And then after all of that, I thought it was so rushed, like the court case, and then when Barry walked out, we'll talk about that in a sec. But like everything from like that point onward, when the Barrys start like going back in time to try and save Supergirl and Batman, but they realize they're doomed, like that's when the movie kind of lost me.
Yeah. So I'll say that I loved what they were trying to do, and I hated the execution.
Yeah, the whole clay thing was weird. You have Nicolas Cage's Superman, which is apparently something that Andy Muschietti spoiled
Oh, that was
months
so
before.
good. I did not hear about that. And when he showed up, I almost jumped from my seat. I always wanted to see that. It kind of sucks that it was in CGI and not actually live action.
Yeah, what if you just had Nick Cage like look up in his universe and he sees like a cloud? Like that would have been better. But if you guys watching don't know, Nicolas Cage was supposed to be in Tim Burton's Superman Lives, which is a movie that got canceled.
Yeah.
And And so that's the whole joke. And then you had Christopher Reeve, the original Supergirl, Adam West's Batman from the series.
Yeah, so like you said, Helen Slater, Supergirl.
Yeah.
She was from the time that of the original Superman movies. They did it. It was a horrible movie. Did not work out for obvious reasons because it was shit. But she was actually pretty good. She wasn't that bad. And yeah, they show up together because I guess that makes sense. They were, I think, in the same universe back then. But again, the whole CGI thing just really ruined it for me because, like, as a DC fan, I had a smile on my face. I was like, oh my god, look at this, look at this, look at this. Because I was like, this is all things I love. And seeing, like, Nick Cage and Adam West and all that, I was so happy. But, like, it looked so bad. And you have archive footage of all these people in costume. You could have just showed it. You could have shot Nicolas Cage in a studio somewhere, in a green screen, and it would have looked 10 times better. And yeah, like those cameos were amazing for me, but the CGI really took me out of it.
I think what I would have changed is I think they were setting up, like in that last scene where 2013 Barry, we'll call him, gets mad. Long hair Barry, he gets mad because Barry needs to go back in time and reverse the reversion of his mom's death. He needs to let his mom die at the end, and he was getting pissed. So I was like, oh shit, so he's evil Flash. So I thought in this moment he was going to become Reverse Flash, and then he's the real villain, and Zod was just a red herring this whole time. But then they really rushed the ending with like Timekeeper. He looked like a parademon. It's like old Ezra Miller. They were doing a similar thing to Lightyear, where it was like old Buzz Lightyear coming out, and I didn't like that whole look. I thought he was like, I guess, some timekeeper. I don't know, but it was really rushed. I would have liked if it was like a Flash Reverse Flash, Barry versus Barry battle.
If he became Reverse Flash, every Flash fan would have turned off the movie because that's so stupid. But I understand what you mean. You mean in like the sense that he would be the villain, right? Because he becomes Dark Flash, and that's like more comics accurate.
Okay, I guess Dark Flash, Reverse Flash, but...
No, Reverse Flash is the Flash's main villain. People will kill you in the comments for that.
No, I know there's an Eddie Thawne Reverse Flash, but...
It's not Eddie Thawne.
Wait, who's Reverse Flash then?
It's Thawne, but not Eddie Thawne. Eddie Thawne is like his
Eobard Thawne. I don't know.
Eobard Thawne.
Yeah, I thought Eobard Thawne and Eddie Thawne are the same person.
They're not. They're like They're like relatives.
Chris, as you know, I have not read a DC comic in a very long time. It's like there was barely a battle. It was just like stabby stab and then death.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that's not the real ending to this movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They shot this like 3 months ago.
That's why I totally agree with you guys that it was rushed.
Yeah. But there's no excuse for the CGI shit. That was a stupid choice because like you could have made that probably easier with real people. So there's no excuse.
Yeah, it took
for
more.
that.
Maybe Nick Cage was busy in the press tour of massive talent. I don't fucking know. Or some indie movie.
The only person you needed was him, because everyone else you could have gotten
everyone else is dead.
Yeah, everyone else you could have gotten archive footage. You have the footage. You Warner Brothers. You own it.
Chris, anything else you have to say about that ending, about the climax?
Yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way, and it was, like you said, super rushed. And then everything that came after, I was like, that's the end of the movie? We'll talk about it very shortly, I assume. But it was like, it basically was almost as abrupt as Fast X to me. Not that bad, but it was like, I was like, this is the end of the movie? What?
Yeah, they jumped the gun a little bit there. So the end of the movie, half bad Flash saves real Flash, I guess, from really bad Flash. I guess that's the climax.
We can call him Kylo Ren Flash, sacrifices himself from Palpatine Flash.
Yeah. Which, again, if you're looking at time travel rules, it makes no sense because it was actually him just becoming more evil. So that makes absolutely no sense. So, but whatever. We all gave up on time travel rules in minute 1 of this episode. But he comes back. He has, to be fair, I think might be one of the best scenes in the movie when he has to say goodbye to his mom, but she can't know that it's him. That really got me. Like, that was really emotional. Because imagining having to do that's so fucked up.
It's the hardest thing that Barry's ever had to do.
That anyone would ever have to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fucked. But it's a really good emotional scene. Like, whatever you want to say about Ezra Miller, he kills it in this movie, like
Mhm.
acting wise, and that scene is like fantastic.
You know what it
And
reminded me of? The conversation you had with his mom. Chris, you've seen The Atom Project, right?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
So there's that scene where
yeah,
Jennifer Garner's upset and she's talking at the bar with Ryan Reynolds, and
Very
he's like
similar.
giving her advice and she can't know that it's him, and she's like, "You must have had an amazing mother," and he says, "The best." So
yeah.
it reminded me almost exactly of that scene.
I almost cried in
Mhm.
that scene. I almost cried in this scene. So
Shout out to our amazing moms
shout
out
out to our
there.
moms, yeah. But anyway, so like he kills her after that. According to Eddie Muschietti, it was the actual Reverse Flash who killed her, which is the actual comic.
Which is so dumb that they have to reveal that in an interview
in
instead
an
of.
interview. Yeah, that's so stupid. But like, yeah, that was the Reverse Flash who killed him. And in the original ending, it would have ended with him learning that Reverse Flash is the one that killed his mom, and he would have been the villain of the second movie. So do with that what you will. But then he comes back. He can't resist saving at least his dad, so he puts the can up there. So he shows up in the, cause he's like it's okay, cause like it's not gonna change anything until that point, cause that's when they're gonna look at the camera. He was wrong. So he comes back. Everything looks the same. But then Batman calls him on his phone, and he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna believe what just happened, or whatever."
By the way, could you guys tell right away that it wasn't Ben Affleck's voice? Because I could tell.
I thought it was
thought it
Michael
was
Keaton's
Keaton.
voice. Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
Keaton too.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be like some actor, but I didn't. I just knew it wasn't Affleck. I could tell from the voice. It was older.
Yeah, I could tell it wasn't Affleck, but I was sure it was Keaton. And again, this was the original ending to have Keaton be there. Like that's been confirmed already. Like there were like there were photos of him shooting that exact scene. So, so who is it? George fucking Clooney. Like I thought it was so funny.
That was hilarious. I think this is a better ending actually than if Keaton came in. I think this is really funny. I loved the joke.
Yeah, it was.
Especially like that movie's so shit on, so the fact that he was willing to come in and do this for the joke, I loved it.
Yeah, and apparently, again, back stuff for you guys. The situation was, when this movie was supposed to come out, Michael Keaton was supposed to be the Batman in the DCU instead of Affleck, and Sasha Calle was supposed to be Supergirl instead of Henry Cavill. So both him and her have been photographed filming that scene, showing up in the courthouse. Uh, and they were supposed to continue, like, Batgirl and all that after this.
Wait, Henry Cavill wasn't in this movie.
What?
Wait,
Sasha
why did?
Calle
wait,
was supposed to show up.
Oh, at the ending scene.
Yeah.
Wait, but
There's-
you said Henry Cavill.
Instead of Henry Cavill.
But he didn't show up in the ending scene.
No, but like being the super
Oh,
person
okay.
of that universe
Okay.
instead of Henry Cavill. So they changed this like 5 months ago when James Gunn became the head of DC, and they even shot another scene with Henry Cavill in that fucking courtroom. Because he had just shown up in Black Adam. So basically, the Batman was gonna be Michael Keaton, and we were gonna have two super people in the universe, Supergirl and Henry Cavill.
Oof.
And that also, so James Gunn came in. He was like, "I'm not using them at all in my movies." So he called George Clooney personally, James Gunn,
Wait, really?
and asked him to replace Keaton. So that's what I read that in Variety or something like that. So there you go. That's your your lesson for the day of the much better ending that we didn't get. So yeah, but it was funny, but like yeah, I much rather had that.
Yeah, I thought it kind of just ended on a whimper. Like it was a good, cheap little, like it was a nice little laugh. But I was like, man, like the movie that we had like in the first two acts was so much better than like the last act that it just kind of left with sour taste in my mouth. So I guess like what's your like interpretation of the ending, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, so is the Flash in it confuses me a little, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not a hardcore DC guy, so I just want to get like someone's insight who is he in the the Clooney verse, or is Clooney just like the Bruce Wayne there, and things went so wrong in the timeline that this is like the new DC timeline?
I think
So
Clooney's just back for the gag, to be
so
honest.
I don't think he's
Okay.
back as like actual Batman. I don't think he's gonna be the Batman in Brave and the Bold, which is James Gunn's universe. James Gunn said that the first character of DCU is gonna be Blue Beetle. So I'm assuming not even Ezra Miller is gonna be in that new universe, but he'll be around on this multiverse thing. But the new universe that we're focusing on, I not sure. It's all very confusing right now.
Yeah.
Like I would love for George Clooney to be the Batman now. That would be great. I don't have a problem with
It's
that.
the Descendants, but with costumes.
I don't have a problem with that. He's supposed to have a kid. Like it could work, but like in the Brave and the Bold, which apparently Annie Muschietti is directing. Like it's been confirmed.
I think that's a good decision to bring him,
that
personally.
he's directing the Batman movie within James Gunn's universe, The Brave and the Bold. So maybe George Clooney is the new Batman. I'm not sure. Everything is really confusing right now. They were apparently Warner Brothers thought this was gonna be a big hit, which it wasn't. And they were thinking they were gonna keep Ezra Miller because of the hit, but nobody showed up. So
Yeah.
so I don't think they're gonna keep anything anymore. That's my
Mm.
idea, which really sucks because like I love the Snyderverse, so like it's kind of sad to see how it all ended.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts besides my depression as a DC fan?
I got nothing, honestly. I was disappointed with the movie overall. Had me hooked for a good bit, but it could have been so much more, in my opinion. It's like a low positive score for me, like a 3 out of 5.
I would say personally like 7.5 out of 10. I honestly like really enjoyed myself, and I finished with a smile on my face just because I was really expecting it to be like caught up in all the pretentiousness of trying to tease all this other stuff, and it really was just like having fun with itself. Even when like Sasha Calle's character, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name.
Kaye.
Kaye, yeah, is supposed to be taking herself really seriously. Like she was having fun with it, and I enjoyed the tone personally, even though maybe like the stabby stab at the end was a little rushed. Um, but it looks like right now Warner Brothers, I predict that they're still gonna push to keep Ezra Miller, even though he's been really problematic. But I don't know if that'll happen, just because they've been like bringing him to the premiere and stuff. Besides that, I don't know, because Michael Keaton filmed something for Batgirl. Batgirl's not happening. I don't know if Keaton's coming back at all.
I don't
Is
think
he
he
like
is.
dead, not dead, whatever. But I think Sasha Calle as Supergirl, I think she's gonna probably stay.
I really hope she's the
Ben A-
Supergirl in that Supergirl movie that we're
Yeah,
getting.
Woman of Tomorrow. I would love that because she was
I
really great.
Hope she was really good.
And like James Gunn's for sure keeping John Cena, probably Margot Robbie, maybe Zachary Levi. So I'd love for him to keep her as well. I think she did a great job. I mean, wish list Kiersey Clemens also, but you never know what he's gonna do with the side characters in the Flash universe. We just got to recast Henry Allen, so. And then also, shit, I just lost my tweet. Also, Ben Affleck has apparently filmed scenes for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
No,
I don't know if
that's
they're.
been deleted already.
Wait, are you for? Because they
Yeah.
shot the stuff with
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, then with Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
And now it's
deleted.
like-
There's nothing there.
So I don't know, man. Like, is Batman needed for this movie? Are we gonna introduce a new Batman at the end of Aquaman 2? Are they gonna have Ben Affleck just for shits and gigs? Are they gonna have multiple Batman, but they only use one? It's like Ben Affleck's hanging around. I don't fucking know.
I don't think Ben Affleck exists anymore in the multiverse for them.
I want someone to find. Someone go to the comments and be like, "What was the final line of Ben Affleck in the DCU? What was his final line in this movie?"
It's the one that he
Don't
said
go
to-
back in time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's when he's talking to Barry about that, and it's actually really nice. It's a scene where he's like, "Our tragedy is what defines us," or something like that, which is a really good final line
Yeah.
for any character. When he's referring to his parents dying, and Barry having to let go, because we can't control everything. So actually,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good final line. Yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I gave up hope in this. But to be fair, every 6 months I reunite that hope just to be let down again.
So possibly rest in peace, Batfleck.
Okay, so that was actually a pretty good episode, a pretty great episode. Um, Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us, talking about the shit show that is my favorite brand, and actually having some fun talking about good time travel movies.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, tell tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube at Filmstocked, same for Instagram and TikTok, and also Letterboxd. I do reviews over there, so those are the places you can find me.
Same here.
What's up? And then,
We
yeah.
also do Letterboxd.
But we never
follow
plug
you.
it.
We'll follow you.
It's the first time we've plugged it.
I'm always
So-
looking to follow more people on Letterboxd.
Yeah, so go follow Chris. Great Letterboxd account, and go follow him, of course, on YouTube
And Instagram.
and Instagram as well. Part of this little film community that we're a part of. You can find us as always at Film Fanatics Pod on Instagram, TikTok, even though we haven't posted on TikTok in like a year. And on YouTube, of course, which might be where you're watching this. If not, go follow us there. Again, just Film Fanatics. Gal, where can people find you?
So I'm active on our Film Fanatics account. So is Alan, and at Film Toppings on Instagram and YouTube, and Letterboxd.
Yeah, my letterbox is at Alan Azulai. So there you go. So thank you guys for watching. Let's see what the future for DC
Let us know what you hope
holds.
will happen in the future of the DCU.
It's just gonna burn in hell at this point.
Hope not.
Okay, bye guys. Thank you for watching.
Bye.